is not looking too hot with 4 rupees. So here Matt is teaching us some valuable lessons about life. Not that stealing is bad, but that we can just kind of get away with it.
See, I've noticed oSeabass hasn't been duping rupees.
Yeah, that and bad RNG. Oh, but
Well, he got good RNG there.
yeah, there you go.
oSeabass has not run this game for probably 5 years now.
Yeah, since 2015, I believe.
Yeah.
Anyways,
So,
how's it going, Gravone?
yeah, I had some audio issues. I'm back now.
Alright, let's see if Matt is going to... Oh, he did not fail trendy game. Let's go. Very nice. Alright, so now... well, you saw Matt get a seashell earlier, but we're actually going to be using the shovel here to get another seashell in the doghouse. We are not going to be going through the wrong way, don't worry. Anyways. Is Matt going to get the bomb trigger? No, he's not even going to go for it. Essentially, what a bomb trigger is if you place 2 bombs from within a few frames of each other, the game gets confused as to why there are 2 bombs on screen, and so it will activate a certain trigger on screen, and so you can abuse that to trigger Terran here without using the powder.
You see it used in a lot of different places in the game as well. This trick does a lot of things.
Yeah, it single-handedly broke the game back in 2015.
For the longest time, we had a world record that was kind of stellar in this game, and then super jumps and then bomb triggers were discovered one after the other, and times just tumbled after that.
Yeah, 2015 was pretty crazy. Super jumps were allowed, bomb triggers happened. Fun times.
So we see Matt in Dungeon 1 here.
Also nice snipe at the wall from Matt. So Dungeon 1's pretty standard. Nothing too crazy. Basically, we're just going to be getting to the feather as quickly as possible so that we can annihilate the game. Because as Gravone mentioned earlier, we'll be able to do a trick called a super jump. Also, Matt, don't die. Since we're about to get the feather, would you like to explain what a super jump is?
So a super jump is when you clip into a wall, and the game thinks you're sort of on top of that wall. So when you try and jump off it using a particular input, it sort of tries to jump you off as if it's jumping you off a cliff. So you get a much longer jump. And this can be used. This can be used in multiple different places. There's certain blocks you can't do it off. So we'll see it in a second. We'll see it here actually.
Yeah,
so we
and then boom.
Yeah, so he clips into the wall. He fires the arrow because the easiest way of doing it is you have to fire an arrow, use a sword, or the magic rod. But you can also do it without those items, but that's considerably harder.
Yeah, the main purpose of the items is to help turn you around in midair. But you can do a thing called a naked super jump where you have Link already facing outward, and you can just do the inputs, but it's a little bit tighter. Also, hardest boss in the game. Like, actually hardest boss in the game.
We will see itemless super jumps later on in the run.
Yeah. And so that'll be D1 from Matt, while Seabass is doing his super jumps. So as you can see, Seabass is using a sword as opposed to arrows for super jumps. Sword's a bit safer because the arrow routing's a little tight, and you know, sometimes you want to be careful with how you are using your arrows.
The reason why Matt uses arrows is obviously during this speedrun you want to limit the amount of time that you're stuck in the menu as possible. Each menu costs you 2 seconds, so that really adds up.
Yeah, and switching between sword and bow will cost you 4 seconds, which is quite a bit of time when you look at like your average D1 segment. So I'm wondering if Matt's gonna go for the bomb trigger here in the log cave, because there was a recent optimization found by Sagas, because of course Sagas found an optimization where you can bomb trigger the heart piece in this cave. Oh well, he's just going for the super jump, but yeah, you can bomb trigger that heart piece from the transition. Saves less than a second, but it's nice, and it removes a potential soft lock if you're not far enough on the wall. So we're gonna leave this heart piece for later. You'll see why. Seabass going for the traditional no save and quit strat for slashing those rocks.
So Matt's now talking to the picture guy. As part of the requirement for 100%, we have to complete all the pictures. There's 12 in the game, so I think we only have to collect 11, don't we?
Yeah, because the shoplifting picture is automatically put into your inventory after you steal an item, even if you don't activate the picture guy.
Now, the order in which you do the picture guy and then go and save Bow Wow is very important. If you were to save Bow Wow before the picture guy, I don't think you would be able to complete 100% at that point.
Wait, you would have to go back to Mabe Village, then return Bow Wow, then return back to the picture guy
before you talk to Richard.
Yeah. Because you can get that picture with Bow Wow, but you need the picture guy activated beforehand.
And the picture guy won't talk to you if you've got a follower.
Yeah. Also, we just talked over the entirety of Moblin Cave. Basically, we save Bow Wow here. He is quite the friend and foe of this game. He's not quite as useful as in other categories in this one, since we only have him for a short amount of time, but he can still screw you over with RNG. So with those flowers in front of D2, he can just refuse to eat for well over a minute. Shoutouts to Alpha.
It's strange that sometimes he takes so long to eat, yet he eats cutscenes in other categories.
Yeah, it's...
Shoutouts to D7.
He picks and chooses what he eats. Seabass showing us right here, okay, Bow Wow being better than he usually is, but still taking a little bit. So coming up, Matt's going to be doing a ghost quick kill. So normally you need to use the powder to make the boo buddies scared so you can hit them, but you can just kind of rocket them off screen and they're dead. Can also use sword.
I don't think we mentioned that the first part of this game doesn't feel like it's intended to use the bow on mini bosses because it just two-shots them.
Yeah, so
Kind of ridiculous.
because we steal the bow and shovel, we get them very early in the run. Normally, the game intends you to collect 200 rupees for the deluxe shovel, as it's called, and then 980 rupees for the bow, which just so happens to be the amount that you should have by the time you go to Dungeon 5, where the game expects you to fight a mini-boss that you probably would never encounter on a casual playthrough anyways, let's be honest. But because... Oh, go ahead.
That certain mini-boss can be beaten with the hookshot as well.
Yeah, so there's no point. The bows... Is the bow even required? Aside from Death
for
Eye?
Death, but
you can just
they
use
put the
boomerang.
in. There is one key in Dungeon 8 that requires the bow.
Yeah, but you don't need
I-
that key, technically.
You might do.
Yeah,
can't remember
anyways. Matt. Matt.
Oh. So,
Well,
well, we
oh,
can
man.
commentate that quick kill on Seabass's side.
Yeah. That's not fun. When you mess up the genie quick kill like that, it's rough. So, the genie, normally this would be the longest boss fight in the game, because you'd have to wait 3 cycles and like 12 text boxes, and you'd have to throw the bottle at the wall 3 times before it can break. But based on a discovery by Tompa, you can basically just clip into the wall, throw the bottle, game gets really confused, freaks out, breaks the bottle, and then you can use the bombs and then bomb arrows to quickly kill him before he can do anything.
It's sort of a 2-part quick kill. The first part's the breaking the bottle, and then the second part is there's some timing to placing the bomb, and there's positioning to placing the bomb arrow as well. Otherwise, he won't be where you want him to be.
Yeah. So
Also,
Matt getting it this time.
This is most likely going to give Matt some problems with bomb and arrow routing.
Oh yeah, because he's down quite a bit of arrows. He's fine on bombs because we will be getting a bomb pickup, but we should be good otherwise. So, Seabass finally getting that heart piece there. It's actually just a little bit faster to get it on the way over to the Mad Batter here, because you can move down a little bit while getting the heart piece, and that saves time. Now time for powder skip. Let's see if Seabass gets powder skip. If you don't get powder skip, run is essentially dead. Okay, he got it. So, would you like to explain how Mad Batter works?
So Mad Batter, okay, so he's gonna allow you to carry more of bombs, arrows, and powder, and he'll refill those resources whilst he gives them to you. And there's a set order in which he's going to give you text boxes. So if you say yes on the first text box, he'll give you powder. Second, he'll give you bombs. Third, he'll give you arrows. Now, because of how tight the resource routing is in this game in general, we want to get bombs here, and then we'll be getting arrows later on, and then we'll get powder last.
Yeah,
The
powder is only needed for the upgrades.
the upgrades are required for the 100%. So that's why we get those. Well, that's why we get the powder one at least.
Yeah, powder one is essentially useless because when would you ever need to carry 40 powder? It's not even like 60 powder like the bombs and arrows, it's 40.
You
Yeah.
could say, why do you need 60 arrows over 30 arrows, though?
I mean, you could be wasting your arrows. We use quite a bit of arrows in this run. Okay, is Matt just gonna... Wow, Matt's just throwing caution to the wind here. He's just like, yeah, I'm gonna keep shooting bomb arrows. Though actually, he does have a couple of spares since he didn't use many in D2. Aside from, you know, the failed quick kill, but whatever.
I think he probably wasted one arrow.
Yeah, but he saved one by just using one bomb on that skull rock. So fun fact about this cutscene, if you actually like read it, Richard's like, yeah, where are my leaves? But you've never met him before. And it's really weird. Oh yeah, Seashell Mansion. Basically, every 5 in 10 seashells, you can get a bonus seashell if you go to the Seashell Mansion. And that is very important for seashell routing, because if you get one more or one less, then you will not get the prize. And say you have 6 before going into this Seashell Mansion, you just cannot get the prize anymore for the 5. So it's very important that you get specific seashells.
So we'll be going to Seashell Mansion at 5 and 10 seashells, and then obviously at 20.
Also, Villa Skip. Essentially, you can pause while falling into a pit and clip into the menu, and then you can transition down. And it's not out of bounds. The game just kind of forces you down if you're over a solid tile while falling. And so you can do that to skip the entirety of Candlelit Castle. Leaves are not required for 100%. Now on oSeabass's screen, he is doing a trick called a Jesus jump. Where essentially, if you pause right before you're about to drown, you can jump off the water. I'm going to be using that a little bit in this run, not as much as some other categories nowadays, but still very useful to get that seashell before getting flippers.
So we see Matt clipping into the key block and opening it from behind.
We saw this with D1. The game only requires that you need to be facing up while touching the key block to open. So here we're going to be seeing Seabass killing a bunch of enemies. And that's going to be important because we're going to be looking to get an item called the Piece of Power. So under ordinary circumstances, because we save and quit a lot, we're resetting this counter for the Piece of Power for every single kill. But it just so happens that there are enough enemies that we can get the Piece of Power here in Dungeon 3. And that will increase our speed and double our attack power. But only if we have the level 1 sword. And it gives us like this knockback effect. And it seems like Seabass is going for some old route shenanigans here, fighting the Dodongos.
And despawning one.
Yeah, so this will actually put Matt in the lead because the Dongo skip saves quite a bit of time.
oSeabass getting the key at the start of the dungeon. It might save a bit of time though.
Yeah. So now, oh yeah, Dodongo skip. This is our first instance of a sword out super jump, where we're going to be charging our sword and then doing a super jump and then releasing that spin. And when we do that, we're using the sword out super jump to clink off of the Dodongo and then release while releasing the spin, and then we can move to the right. And that can help us get past that wall and skip a key.
I know, as we've not even mentioned flock clips.
Oh yes, flock clips. The two in the game. Basically, a discovery by flock, where if you're clipped into a wall, and then you push up against an object that can give you a text box, essentially the game will push you to the side during that text box, and you can use that to clip into a corner, and then you can just skip the key block, or in the instance before D2, skip the key block, the rock before D2, we just skip the swamp.
oSeabass not having a great victorious fight.
Yeah.
It seems to not want to split.
Yeah, it splits on frame rule, and there's a cooldown as well on if it doesn't split, so you have to wait a little bit, and sometimes it just won't split after that, and it's a pain. Matt showing us a little trick with boots in place using shovel.
Unintentionally.
Yeah. The game, for some reason, if you interrupt the dash with your shovel, it just kind of keeps you in place. Also, the most obvious heart piece in the game, definitely. Seriously, who found this without a guide?
You know, as a kid, I was always missing one. I think it was this one.
There are no hints.
Like it's like the game developers expect you to go around clinking off every single wall in the game.
I mean, they make you do that in Dungeon 3 to get a key, in casually. So what Matt just did there is he save and quit right after Terran got the stick, and then that skips the entire cutscene while oSeabass is just opting to see the cutscene.
Oh yeah, we should also explain that we have the stick now, even though we never got it. The reason being is that the game assumes after you've beaten D3 that you automatically have the stick, because it's impossible not to have the stick at that point. So the game just assumes you have it.
Yeah. Also, Matt getting some pretty good seashell manor bar RNG. That can sometimes just lose a ton of time because the bar just decides to take forever. Inconvenient acorn drop. So that'll be our last visit.
Of the two temporary upgrades you can get in this game, the piece of power and acorn, all the acorn does is it loses you time in a text box.
Yeah, it only doubles your defense, but in many instances, we don't need that defense because we have so many hearts. I don't even think there's an instance in any of the runs where acorn could possibly be useful, except for like maybe a magic rod despawn, but like that's not gonna happen in a run. So now we are going to be getting the Ocarina, the best and worst item in the game. Best because music. Worst because once we start getting songs for it, it opens up this sub-menu where you can only get off of it by moving up or down in the menu, because that sub-menu for when you select which of the 3 songs only works horizontally, and you can't move left or right out of it. It's really dumb.
Worth it to have best song though.
Which one's the best song, Grivone?
The best song is the frog song.
Uh-huh. I see. The best song is no song at all.
I mean,
Do
No.
do 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 do.
Mambo's. Actually, Mambo is the best song, especially when you try and death or skip with it.
Oh boy. Also fishing. Shoutouts to Fish the Pond. Seabass deciding to fish the pond while Matt does not.
Yes.
Essentially, what we want to do is we want to get that top fish out of the way so that we can, when we shoot out the line, we can get the one closest to us easier.
It's so easy with the fish message to then fish again after you've got the heart piece. I've done that before.
Then you're truly fishing the pond. Shoutouts to Fish the Pond, best category.
That honestly is the most competitive category we have. Like everyone's got PBs within like a second of each other.
Yeah. So this is more of kind of a fetch quest, well not fetch quest, but just kind of like a cleanup area where we're just going to be getting a bunch of seashells and pictures while we can, because some of these pictures, which is really dumb, that some of these pictures you can only get for a limited time. So after we talk to Marin, the pictures with Marin we will only be able to get while we're with Marin, and once we take her to the walrus, you can never get those pictures again.
And there's what, 3 Marin pictures? There's quite a lot of them.
Yeah. So we can see these seagulls here. Very majestic.
Did you know those seagulls move in an RNG pattern?
Indeed. Yeah, and I saw... Ooh, we got another seagull going deep on Matt's screen.
Let's compare the seagulls between the 2 screens.
Seems like, seems like Matt's were a lot lower than Seabass's. None of them have really touched the water yet. Oh yeah, I think to mention about that picture falling into the well, you cannot move at all or else the picture does not happen. So it's very easy to miss. Same with this one. Yes, take Marin to this random cliff.
I can't imagine anyone in their first playthrough of this game playing the DX version found this picture on their own.
Yeah, it's so obscure. It's just a random cliff. Terran getting in the way of this picture here. Because he's like that that weird uncle who always tries to get in the middle of things, wants to be in the middle of everything.
I mean, he was blocking something there.
Indeed. So now, anyways, we're going to be taking Marin to the Walrus. And there's actually a small optimization you can do. You can just talk to the Walrus and then Marin will sing Ballad of the Windfish. But you can actually bomb trigger the Walrus and play the song early. It saves a little bit of time compared to walking all the way to the Walrus, since the cutscene ends if your partner goes off screen. So because Marin's so close to the transition, it ends the cutscene early, and then you can move quicker.
Though it took Matt quite a bit of time to get that set up. I don't think he would have saved time on that.
Yeah.
It's something you have to get quick for it to save time.
Indeed. Seabass getting a quicker one. Doesn't matter which bomb trigger you get for this one, just as long as it triggers the Walrus. No need to worry about being in a specific position so you don't soft lock.
Yeah, the soft lock in other categories is caused by Bow Wow being there.
Yeah, and also you can bomb trigger heart pieces, yes. So we can just skip that entire expedition to get the heart piece. We can just go straight to it, bomb trigger, and we will be feeding the sand
feeding
arrows, and it will reward us with a key to Dungeon 4. Nothing here. Don't worry about it.
It's like when you toss a coin into a well. It's like that.
Yeah. Actually, fun fact about the little skeletons in the desert. If you use powder on them, they actually give you hints where heart pieces are. It's actually really interesting. So they'll tell you about the one at the bottom of the pit here. Oh boy, talking owl. So now time for a, we didn't mention this earlier, but in older routes, you would normally get the warp portal nearby the key block to unlock Dungeon 4. But there's a new route. Anyways, best song.
So,
right.
All things considered, this is actually a very close race.
Yeah.
They're split by, I'd say, about half a minute.
Yeah, considering that Matt had, died on Genie, it's pretty close, So yeah, this is the reroute. So instead of getting the warp portal, we're actually going to be we're going to be dashing over to the key block. Also, Matt trying to go for the French bonks. Got the first one. He's going to get the second one. And he gets both of them. Very nice. So part of this new mini reroute is that we're actually going to be going into this cave. Going into the mountains and we just save and quit after putting the key in, and it saves 8 seconds, I think. So pretty nice time save. Seabass going for the bonks as well, very nice. Now I don't believe either of our runners are going for early rooster skips, so I think we're just going to be seeing a pretty basic route here. Just gonna get a seashell, get a picture, and then go to Dungeon 4. Alright, let's see. Most important trick in the game. Matt didn't get it.
It didn't even try it, did he?
Didn't even bother to try to go for it. Just was like, nope. Didn't even go for obstacle skip. Are you kidding me? Saves 0.25, man.
Now imagine he loses the race by 0.25 seconds.
Oh boy. Well, let's see if Seabass gets it. And it seems like Matt is not going for early rooster skip. I guess to just kind of explain what it is, since I don't think any of the runners are going to be going for it. Early rooster skip, essentially we're going to be using the same concept that we used for villa skip, but instead of transitioning, we would use that to basically clip into the top part of the rooster cave pit, and then we would do a dash jump to make it over. But instead, these two are going to opt to do it the normal way after Dungeon 5.
So I noticed Seabass did get obstacle skip,
Oh boy.
but he didn't get butt sword.
Ooh. That is... It evens out.
It does even out. Between the two of them, they've got one swag run.
Yeah. Also, so Matt is not clipped
He's
here.
not clipped.
So I think this can barely work, but you want to be clipped.
He's still not clipped.
He's still not clipped. Essentially, you want to be clipped so that you can jump up and then skip going through the going to the bottom. Skips a key as well. Matt, what are you doing, man?
It's
Basically, we're
it's
just
so
jumping.
Easy. It's so easy when you make a mistake to just completely forget the inputs for something.
Yeah, there it is. There we go. So we're gonna abuse Jesus Jumps again to skip the cue ball fight entirely. We will be seeing cue ball later, but not right now. Matt, Seabass is now caught up. Okay. It's a close race.
So what you're saying is Seabass caught up during the water dungeon.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
Alright. And we will... Would the anglerfish be a bass of some sort?
No, it is not.
This is also not the sea either.
No.
It's alright.
It's like a river inside an island in the middle of the sea. So technically, it's the sea.
It's the same water.
Yeah.
Alright, there we go. So now we're going to be doing P-Hat Clink, similar to the Dongo Skip, where we're clinking off of an enemy to change our direction mid-super jump. We're using the P-Hat to basically knock us down into the Nightmare Key area, skipping that entire tile puzzle, which is completely RNG. Oh, and Matt had 2 spare arrows, so he was good.
Oh.
So
Seabass
shout outs
using
to
an arrow.
Cravone.
I don't know what you're talking about. There's no meme of me doing that, boss.
What's your opinion on the inability to hookshot down underwater?
You can hookshot down underwater. You just have to slash the sword first. As I found out after that particular incident.
Alright, time for Bass song. Oh. Alright, so that's Mambo's Mambo. Essentially, we're going to be using that twice. And essentially what that'll do is it will take you to Mambo's Pond, which is an exclusive warp point to that song. And that is right next to Crazy Tracy's house. And we'll be using that to use that as a warp point to get us to Telltale Heights quicker. Now, after Dungeon 4, after you get the Surf Harp, but before you get the level 2 bracelet, the ghost will spawn. And only in this game do you need to actually save the ghost. And this is because we need the picture, and that's it. You do this entire quest for a picture.
All the other categories just completely skip the ghost.
Yeah, essentially the level 2 bracelet it prevents the ghost from triggering it. I'm not sure if it's like some checkpoint thing or whatever, where it's like in sequence it's like, oh, you've already finished this portion, why would you need to face the ghost now, or whatever.
Took Seabass a while to remember that he needed to bomb trigger that.
Yeah, that's our first instance of a pit bomb trigger. If you drop bombs into a pit, it is the same principle. And will Matt get the save and quit here? 2 save and quits, very nice. 2 buffer on that. You can save and quit after that, after getting the scale, and save some time. So this is Zora Bump. We'll just see if Matt can get it on this attempt, and then we'll explain it.
I'd say this is probably one of the 2 hardest tricks in the run.
Yeah, and very nice Zora Bump. So essentially, what we're doing is we do a shield bump off of the Zora's fireball or whatever. Or off of the Zora itself in the case of the middle spawn, and we use that to fall onto the cliff, just enough that we're not in the water, but we're still on the land, so we can do a super jump to then jump over to the magnifying lens. Both the runners getting bottom spawns. Oh, and Seabass getting clipped into the water. It's also very easy to accidentally super swim, which is banned.
The ghost talking to Seabass there.
So if you take a little bit of time, if you take too long trying to go for a Zora Bump, the ghost will start talking to you. And once the ghost talks to you once, they'll continually try to talk to you and tell them to go to their house or to their grave. And that is super annoying. So what's really interesting is that there's actually a seashell in this house, but we can't get it until the ghost is back at its grave. So what would be a really quick seashell just gets completely thrown out because of the ghost.
Although there are 26 seashells in this game, there's some that we do skip.
Yeah, because we only need 20, and after you get 20, the other 6 despawn or turn into rupee chests. So now, this is the most broken weapon in the game, while the feather is the most broken item. The boomerang one-shots most enemies, and also one-shots the final boss.
So we see oSeabass game the fishing picture.
Quite the it fits in with the narrative of the mouse. The mouse picture guy goes from this humble shop owner just trying to make it by on photography, then falls off of a cliff and ends up in the water here. And now we will see the rest of his story later. But now we're going to be seeing the Mad Batter again, and this time getting arrows. We need arrows. Like, actually need arrows. Because on a typical run, you would have no arrows here, and you need arrows for the rest of the run. So if Matt does powder skip, very nice. He has now achieved all of the powder skips. Very nice. So here's the instance of Mambo's Mambo. So since we're on our way to the color dungeon, you want to explain the color dungeon and what we're going to be doing in there, Kravon?
Yep, we're going to be getting a tunic, which is required for the 100% completion. Though before that, we're going to see Matt get a ghost picture. But essentially, the color dungeon is an exclusive thing to the DX version. It's got a few gimmicks.
Yeah, all things considered, it's pretty boring.
It's got a lot of optimization with the boomerang if they decide to use the boomerang. It's got the only hard reset in the run.
Yeah, so as you can see, we have not very many rupees, and we're planning on getting the frog song after this dungeon. So, you know, how are we gonna get 300 rupees to get the frog song? Well, there's actually this rupee room that gives you a ton of rupees, and if you hard reset the game, that room will refill up with rupees. What are you doing, Matt? So these are the gatekeepers of the color dungeon. They want to know if you can see color.
So it's worth noting that the color dungeon is coded completely different to the rest of the game, which is why the hard reset will be necessary, where it's not necessary anywhere else in the game.
Yeah, this is like... The color dungeon is in its own sub-level entirely in the game. So, like, you know, you have, like, Overworld, Underground 1, Underground 2, and then it's just color dungeon. So as you can see, there's like these boomerang optimizations, really quick kills on these skull things. Do these enemies have a name?
Like
they're not bomb. They're not bomb fairies. So one optimization with the boomerang you can do is you can pick up keys as they're falling, and then the boomerang will come back and give them to you. And probably the easiest unlock in the game if you know what to do. And even if you run out of powder, a fairy will just come in and give you the powder. So now, there's the hard reset. And on our way back through the dungeon, Matt's gonna get the second set of rupees, and that will set him up to get 300. Oh yeah, these are also the only 5 rupees in the game. Funny how the 1 rupee is blue, but the 5 rupee is green. Who called the shots here? Again, another instance of the game not expecting you to have the bow, so you just 2-shot that stone Hinox.
Actually, the color of rupees is quite interesting because they would have colored both rupees at the same time.
Yeah, because they had no color in OG, so why?
So not even like one was done before the other; they were both done at the same time.
Also, this is the bingo room. Worst room in Color Dungeon because these orb monsters, that is their name, orb monsters, are RNG and can just get in your way. So, say you use the boomerang on them, like, it will hit like 3, and sometimes one will just knock the other out of the way, and then you just can't hit one into the pit. Also, worst boss in the game. It's not even clear what you're supposed to do.
That boss is so dumb casually. Well, it's so dumb all the time.
It makes no sense. It's like random text.
Because try and fight it without the bow. Try and fight it with the sword or something, and like you get interrupted by text boxes. He gives you text boxes to stun lock you.
Yeah, and it's like green means go, red means stop, slow down, take your time. But it's like, what does that even mean? Bill Trennan, what does it mean? You helped translate this game. What does it mean?
Maybe it's a message for road safety, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just so confusing. Anyways, Signpost Maze is honestly one of the more stressful parts of the run because if you accidentally double read the signs, you have to redo the entire maze again.
Well done, Matt.
It is the worst. Because A and B are interact buttons, so say you're holding diagonal while trying to use the boots or whatever, it will double read the sign.
And you have to start again.
Yeah.
But bonking here is scary. Also, you cannot mash these, otherwise you're gonna mess up.
Yeah, it's very stressful. Who knew that reading signs would be stressful?
Can you imagine if you could read them sideways?
You can, but they say, oh, you're reading. You have to read it from the front or whatever.
Okay, now we have the best song in the game.
Oh boy. It sure was a pleasure to listen to.
I would like to know what the inspiration of that song is.
I want to know why Wart's there. What is Wart doing in my Zelda game?
Well, a lot of people already know this, but this game used to be, well, this game was a side project by Nintendo developers. They didn't intend it to be a Zelda game, so they include assets from a lot of other games, which is why you can see like Taron looks like Mario, and we've got the Yoshi doll, and we've even got Luigi in the game.
Yeah.
We'll never see him in the speedrun.
Yeah, the game also, the most remote heart piece in the game, how are you supposed to know that there's a heart piece in the moat? Why?
It's like, how are you meant to know there's a hole in the wall there in a particular ROM hack?
Yeah. Also, the full arc of the mouse is complete with this final picture. The mouse is dead. As you can see, it's a ghost. But in actuality, for some reason, they just messed up with the palette and just... Like, his colors are there, but they just messed up and he's just not colored.
You mean they didn't plan that?
Yeah. Totally planned.
That they knew what the speedrun route was going to be.
Indeed. That will normally be your last picture.
Fun fact, you can actually bomb trigger Armos.
Oh yeah, that's it.
A lot of people don't know that. Not that you would want to.
Yeah, so along with, like, you know, cutscene triggers, you can also activate enemy triggers with bomb triggers. So, like, if Zols is supposed to spawn or Armos are supposed to activate, you can use bomb triggers to activate them. Matt, not looking too good on health right now.
Yeah, Blue Tunic has a weird way of working where like you can take like 2 hits of no damage and then the next hit will do double damage, and it's a bit of a mess. He doesn't want to get hit.
Yeah, not going for bow strats, which is apparently faster. I don't know the full details. But anyways, Matt is going for boot strats, going from the bottom.
There are much worse places to die than where he died there.
Yeah, honestly, dying on Armos Knight is better than dying in the Armos Maze. Because if he were to die in the Armos Maze, he would spawn back at the Zora's house. Also, picture check.
And also, there's no heart refill like between the start of the Armos Maze and the end of the Armos Maze. So dying there is actually advantageous if you're gonna die hexing.
Yeah, the Armos Maze was definitely made to be a late game area. So, because it's very clear with the fact that the Armos do so much damage.
Well, they're killable
Also,
with
damage
one
boost.
arrow.
So now we're making our way to dungeon 6. So if we were to have Bow Wow normally, we could manip Bow Wow to eat the cutscene of the dungeon opening. But because we need to turn in Bow Wow for the picture, we have to sit through this cutscene.
I love how you said if we had Bow Wow normally, as if that's the casual thing to do.
I'm so used to the speedrun, okay? So, also a very nice free heart refill. If you use the boomerang on that spark, it will give you health. Now time for featherless strats here in this 2D section. Yeah, there's an optimization where you use feather, and that's a little bit faster because you can jump up the ladder and such, and it doesn't take any extra menus either. It doesn't save a ton of time, but it's a nice little optimization.
Matt not going for the bomb trigger on this room.
Yeah, tower room. Not a coffee break.
It starts the room earlier.
Yeah, this is not a coffee break. In other versions of the run, before D6 was done earlier, you could use the hook shot to make yourself invincible and then just go. Also, Matt not placing the bomb far enough to the right, so he was not able to kill all 4 of the Wizrobes, which only die to bombs or arrows. So this is how we demolish the dungeon. These next couple super jumps just completely it cuts the dungeon not even in half, like into several tiny pieces. So yeah, with those 2 super jumps, we got the nightmare key, and now we're on our way to Facade.
We still don't fight the dongos.
Yeah.
At least see these ones. We don't even see the ones in D8.
Yeah. So you want to explain oh my god, Matt getting first try horse heads. You want to explain horse heads before Seabass gets to them?
They're RNG and I hate them.
oh, you have horse heads world record. Yeah, it's a 25% chance that you have to have both heads are up. And sometimes you lose that dice roll so many times.
It can lose you so much time just through sheer RNG.
Yeah.
Also, this boss you can hit 3 times before he even starts talking.
The hitbox just kind of exists, and then it works again. Facade can be cheesed in every game that he's in. I guess maybe in LAS he's not really cheeseable, but you use bomb arrows on him, which speeds him up.
He also has a very small hit pool. Only 5 hits to kill him.
So now, because Matt has 20 seashells, he will be able to get the next reward from the Seashell Mansion, and that will be the Coholent Sword. Matt taking the bomb off the ledge, showing us that you can pick up that bombs and swim with them. I did not know that was a thing until I played Cravone's ROM hack.
I don't think anyone did.
It's such a random thing.
I remember,
Like who?
I found that whilst designing it. And I thought, hang on, I'm leaving this in. Generally didn't plan to have it in, but it happened, so it happened.
Yeah. So we got this really cool sword. You think it's gonna increase our range and make us more powerful, right?
Well, not anymore from that.
Yeah, it's like half of what I said. It's just the sword, but it shoots beams.
Not from that.
Oh yeah, because you have to be at full health. In traditional Zelda fashion.
Traditional Zelda fashion, you lose half a heart the instant you get the sword that shoots sword beams.
Yeah, so Matt is doing a safety saving quit here because the reason why we got the boomerang so early and why we're leaving D5 until now is that we're going to be doing a trick called early hook shot, where essentially how drops work in a room is that each room is assigned a specific map, please, is assigned a specific item that drops. So, for instance, in this room, a key will drop, and in the Master Stalfos 4 room, there's the hook shot. So if you bring the key over with the boomerang and you collect the key, well, the Link transitions right as he's about to collect the key, the game will think that you have the item, and so it just gives up and it's like, alright, here you go. And then you get the hook shot. But the main issue with it is that it is 50-50 whether or not you get it. And Matt's having a bit of trouble setting it up, but I think he's got it this time. And then he got bad RNG. It loses 6 to 15 seconds depending on how quickly you back it up, but you can lose so much time to this trick just by getting bad RNG.
If you get this and Zora Bump first time, I think the time save between the two tricks is in the reach of minutes.
Yeah, you save well over a minute in Dungeon 5 by getting the hook shot early. It's that big of a time save. Seabass getting the level 2 sword.
It's also very easy to mess this trick up. If there's anything else on the screen, any sort of heart or rupee, it's going to mess up the trick as well.
Yeah, and all the enemies have to be dead.
There we are. You got it. And now he's going to go get the key.
Yeah, you need this key. The key still exists, so that's good.
Okay, so the reason why that works is in every Master Stalfos room, if you defeat Master Stalfos, it drops a small key. Except for the last Master Stalfos room.
Mm-hmm.
That Master Stalfos room will convert any small key into the hook shot. So bringing a small key into that room means we're getting the small key of that room, which transfers it into a hook shot.
Yeah. Also, Matt, what is happening?
It's as a result of them coding in...
Wait, Matt. Okay, so... he didn't kill that Master Stalfos there, so he's just gonna hard reset. Now, you can do the rest of the dungeon without it, but there's a huge but here, and that is if you kill Master Stalfos and don't get the key or whatever, he'll respawn. And I'm guessing he probably is not super familiar with the other route. And Seabass getting first try. seems like, for early hookshot. That's going to be a huge catch-up point for Seabass. Matt does not have... Oh, fourth try? Okay, I was too busy trying to explain. But yeah, that's still huge compared to Matt, though. Who had a little bit of difficulty. So now Matt, on his way to the boss room. So the reason why he got that key, and we're going to be doing a trick called a hookshot clip. If you want to explain that, Cravone.
Yes. So a hookshot clip, if it's the one that I remember, let me see it. Okay, could you explain it? I generally don't remember how that works.
Basically, if you're clipped into that block, because there are two hookshotable objects, if you just keep hookshotting, the game's just like, and it just keeps pushing you forward. And so you can clip through that, and then not have to fight the Gomas at all to go through there. You can alternatively just jump around, but that's no fun compared to what we just did. Also, Slime-Eel. Awful boss.
Matt, that was your sword, not the hookshot.
Matt. Alright. So, we should explain why we get the blue tunic as opposed to the red tunic, since it's most apparent here. So, essentially, both the tunics give you effects pertaining to the piece of power and Guardian Acorn, except the red tunic does not speed you up. So, it becomes obsolete very quickly in this run because you get the level 2 sword, which means that your double damage means nothing. And you get the level 2 bracelet, which means that you don't pick things up which means that you pick things up just as fast as with the red tunic. And so you basically don't save any time, and because of that knockback effect, the Slime-Eel fight becomes terrible because the knockback gives some delay on when you can damage the boss again, and it's a pain.
It is still possible to two-cycle the boss with red tunic, but it's incredibly hard.
Yeah. So, because Matt did not go for early Rooster Skip, we will be seeing him do normal Rooster Skip, which involves a hookshot jump, which found in 2005 by Tompa. You can essentially, when you hookshot while over a pit, when the hookshot fully comes back to you, the game thinks that you're grounded, so you have the opportunity, you have a 1-frame window to jump from that, and then you can make it across the pit, but you have to get a pretty good dash jump, and you have to get 2 of them, making it a double frame perfect trick.
Matt not going for obstacle skip again.
Dang.
Disappointing.
Disappointment. So I'm pretty sure Matt will be going for buffered Rooster Skip, while Seabass will be going for unbuffered. Yeah, Matt's going for buffered. So, found by Zorlax, if you use the save and quit menu to buffer the hookshot, and then when the hookshot hits Link's nose, you can just do 1 Matt buffer and then buffer the feather out of that, and then you can just hookshot jump. optimally it loses 8 seconds compared to unbuffered, but it's very easy to lose more time. So let's see if oSeabass will be going for the second obstacle skip. Gotta verify the run. Oh yeah, getting the second to last heart piece.
Don't forget that.
Yeah, it is. So normally you'd have to bomb a wall on the way to D8, which is not very obvious. But instead we can just bomb trigger it.
Run verified.
Ah, yes, very nice. oSeabass wins. No need to continue the run anymore. It's over. Alright. Anyways, oSeabass going for rooster skip.
He's gonna do it, Buffalo's.
Yeah, because because he was around before buffered existed.
This is how he learned to run the game. Oh, too late.
Oh man.
The problem with
So-
Buffalo's is if you do it too much to the left, like too many times, you'll automatically fall in the hole.
Yeah.
If you start going too left, you have to do a few right, and that becomes very difficult.
Yeah, so you really want to get it as soon as possible. Also, we got the most useless item in the game, 2 shield. We actually just don't need it at all.
oSeabass falling a second time.
Oh man.
It's about a 20
anyway-
second loss every time you fall.
Yeah, so Matt is going for the bomb triggers here. And what is happening? Okay, there we go. So he essentially, like with the Terran bomb trigger, he killed that Zol so that the value that he's triggering is correct for the first pillar, which allows for this chain of bomb triggers. Who needs the metal ball? Also, oSeabass getting the unbuffered rooster skip, very nice. Unbuffered is really cool when you get it. Looks very smooth.
D7 in the speedrun is a complete mess.
Yeah, I think...
we break it more than any other dungeon in the game, surely.
Yeah, well, maybe D8 though. I'd say D8 and D6 are also contenders for most broken dungeon. But I will say that D7 has gone through the most variations.
Matt opting not to do Goomba Surf.
Good choice. Very, very, very good choice considering the RNG during
The game
this tournament
punished
so
him
far.
by giving him 2 rupees to hookshot to.
Oh man. Yeah, so to explain Goomba Surf, well actually we'll explain this first. Game forgets that the bottom bar exists, so the hookshot just kind of wraps around and hits the eagle while it's off screen. So that's really cool. So yeah, anyways, Goomba Surf. Goomba Surf, essentially you're doing a naked super jump onto a Goomba that will give you just enough height to get onto the ledge to fight the evil eagle. The only problem is that it's a 1 in 4 chance that the Goomba will move right. And so it sucks. Also, boulder strats.
I don't think oSeabass knows the D7 route.
I think
We're gonna
he's
see
doing
something very old school here.
he's doing the old bomb triggers route where you use the boulder for the first 3, and then bomb trigger the last one. Oh, is Seabass? Seabass is going for the bomb trigger for the last 2 here. I've never seen him go for he didn't kill the Zol, so you can't bomb trigger that. Also, just doing the really cool boulder jump. Anyways, Matt is making his way over to the final area, well, the final Mad Batter spot, where he has to do the powder because there's nothing else to upgrade. Don't fall. Okay, good. Very good.
Ooh. I think Seabass is forgetting everything in D7 here.
Yeah, not exactly know what. You were going the right way, Seabass. What are you doing? Okay, so yeah, another P-Hat Clink. Also Flame Skip. So this is why the level 2 shield is useless. Because if you just clip into the wall, you can just go past the hitbox that shoots Link away after taking damage. So you can just dash through the fire, and then you're good.
Fun fact.
Or go ahead.
Fun fact, with Flame Skip, you can do that casually. Without clipping into the wall. If you get Tracy Potion and it triggers whilst you're in the flame, you can use the invincibility frame to just go past.
Oh yeah, that too.
So you don't even need the shield casually.
Yeah. I think the first ever run of this game, or well, just of LA and LADX, uses that. Oh yeah, also, so Matt just did a trick called a bookshot. If you have your hookshot on the B button and you have feather equipped, if you press down hookshot and feather on the same frame, the game will put Link in this state where he's like jumping while hookshotting, and he can move really, really fast. And with that, you can abuse that to clip into the key block and skip getting some keys. And that works because there's an item priority where the B button, if the B button and the A button are pressed on the same frame, the B button will always have priority. Also, Matt doing a little lava swim.
And then hook-shotting a heart piece.
Yeah, you can just kind of grab that with the boomerang. Also, yeah, also you can... Oh, Seabass activating the cutscene. That loses 45 seconds. It's a shame when that happens.
It's all Taran's fault.
Yeah. And then the owl talks forever.
It's like
also
you get one longer cutscene, then another one, and then insult to injury.
Yeah. So Matt in the Roomba room. Everyone has their own little pattern and strategy for it. You can optimize it in many different ways. There are many optimal paths. So pick and choose which one you like. Now time for the most whack boss in the game, Hothead, whose iframes are insane. So basically, he has to be moving at all times to take damage. But you also can't hit him on a certain part of the screen either. And so this fight can be really, really jank. But Matt getting a decent hothead. And that'll be the final instrument.
oSeabass getting his final upgrade.
Oh, and falling off the ledge.
Save and quit. It's quicker.
Don't think he knew to try that. An interesting tactic. Bomb arrow. So now Matt will be making his way over to the Windfish Egg. And instead of playing the Battle of the Windfish, we're not going to use the ocarina at all. We're gonna play with the one thing we know how to play a song with. Bombs. And we'll be quiet for that. And there it is. So, Kervon, teach us more about this Windfish Egg.
Well, this Windfish Egg is a maze that has a set default path which you have to follow. Now, because we didn't look at the book in the library, the path through the Windfish Egg stays as the default. If you were to get the magnifying glass and then read the book in the library, it will then change the path through the egg. But because we didn't read that, it doesn't change and it stays as default. So we're able to know how it works.
Yeah, and here we have Matt doing the text skip on the Nightmare, and then doing a Nightmare Zol manip, where essentially if you don't slash your sword at all, and then place a bomb after the first hit, you will always get that quick kill, so you don't need powder. And Matt is just going manipless on Aghanim. If you don't pause at all, you will always be on the same frame rule, so no matter where Aghanim goes, he will shoot the same amount of he will shoot an energy ball or a blue ball in the same positions. Research done by Vlak. Of course, I don't think any of our runners are doing the manip, since I know Matt just kind of goes without the manip for fun, and I don't think oSeabass knows the manip.
He probably doesn't know the minute. So
yeah.
Matt is getting some bad RNG, the consequence of not doing the manip. That's a quick kill.
Yeah.
16 hits there.
Yeah, or with the level 2 sword hits less than that. Not going for Death'll skip, but opting for boomerang strats. You just stand in the corner and shoot the boomerang. When Death Eye opens his eye, he'll just immediately die. And
one day, someone will get unlucky enough to not have the eye open until they're dead.
that is possible. I don't think someone's actually experienced it, but
It's a
it's possible.
possibility. It will happen sometime.
Yeah, and that is GG for Matt, finishing with an official SRL time of 1:32:27. GG's. While Seabass has killed Hothead. Greetings.
Hello, Matt. GG.
Hello.
So, how did you feel about that run, huh?
I got some golds. That's nice.
Yes, that is very nice.
My hands did some stupid shit. My controller, I think, did some stupid stuff, and I did some stupid stuff.
So
D4 was definitely the hands
I
because I realized what I did wrong, and the moment I did, I was like, "Oh yeah, it works."
Yeah.
you weren't clipped at all.
I wasn't holding left was the thing. That's what gets it to work for me.
I noticed initially you weren't clipped, but then you kept messing up, and I know that feeling of you mess up 2 or 3 times, and then suddenly you just forget how to do it.
Like my brain just collapsed for a while.
And that early hook shot was rough.
Yeah, that was the game.
That was unfortunate.
That was an experience.
Death on Genie.
Yeah, that was me. I know what I did wrong there too, and I know it threw me off. I paused so early, I messed up the timing that I normally have. So I was like, wait, is he actually on the wall? Oh yeah, he is in the wall. And then from there it just fell apart.
So how'd you feel about the run overall?
Let's see. Let's count them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gold. So yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, 7 gold is quite a lot. So
Like I already got the PB that I wanted for this period.
yeah,
So,
that
I'm
128.
I'm actually curious to see something. Oh, look, a 125.44 for best possible time. Never gonna get that.
Nice. So now Seabass is in the Windfish Egg, about to fight the Nightmare.
I had no idea where this man was.
Yeah,
He was neck and neck with you at several points. After you had your issue in D2, in D4, in D5, he caught up, but then his D7, he was running old strats in D7.
yeah.
I'll also say this, in D7, I knocked the Zola into the pit, did the bomb trigger, and I was like, oh yeah, it worked, he must count as dead. Went back up, he spawned again, and I went, you.
Also, Seabass not getting the tech skip, so is going to be going for classic blob minute on classic blob quick kill, opting to just go for the powder instead.
I'm tired, guys.
You're tired.
Yeah, I'm tired.
4 a.m. here.
Alright, look here, you chose this life. You could have left Astra alone.
So it's like 50 degrees Celsius here.
He's a responsible child.
Oh yeah, we get to hear the really cool music. So that's a plus of not getting the tech skip.
The only plus.
My favorite plus.
But what about the minus?
That's the time save.
Yeah.
That's the time save for next run. Aghanim not being very nice to Seabass right now.
Well, he wasn't being very nice to Matt either.
Aghanim just being a jerk all around.
He's so mad that everyone seems to be maniping him now. So he's taking his anger out on the runners that don't manip.
Indeed. Has anyone been counting?
Yeah, I got a count of 80. What?
He won't. Oh,
I'm missing the stun lock on Moldorm.
Fun fact: the world record for blue balls is 17.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Also, will we be seeing Seabass go for the Death Eye skip or no? No, he's just opting for boomerang strats.
I think you would in Hundo.
Going for bow strats.
Oh, cool. He's buying me time.
What are you planning?
I'm not planning anything. I'm doing something.
What is Seabass doing?
He's memeing.
Oh, I don't know what he's doing.
just opting, whatever. Just going for the boomerang.
Okay, but maybe he forgot that he had the boomerang in this category.
Look, it's a reasonable assumption. It's an easy thing to forget.
Wow.
Take a look at all Los's run. Also, just
he's not centered.
Ignoring the boomerang. Yeah, that's why a lot of people stand in the top right corner because the boomerang will always hit. All right, there we go.
There's also a specific timing. Like the window that you can use the boomerang is very small.
Yeah. So that will be Seabass finishing with an official SRL time of 1:39:07. GG's.
GG.
We're going to be seeing a completion check here. Well, he didn't save and quit, but he did get all the pictures, so that's what matters.
Did he have full hearts going into the boss?
Yeah. Also, Matt, why are you rafting?
Why not?
We're never here. We never see this.
Wait, what was this his last save and quit in D5?
I think he did no save and quit muscle memory and
Yeah, because he didn't
took
save and quit in anything else.
took the warp in D8 as opposed to saving and quitting. It's not that big of a time difference. Anyways.
No, I don't want to go.
This is very fun to watch here.
I love how even in Hondo we never see this part of the map. That's how useless it is.
Yeah, isn't there a seashell here, or is it just rupees?
There's a seashell in the raft game.
But you access it from D6, don't you?
Yeah. The other one's just rupees.
What's the point of the raft game in general?
To have fun. Why are you critiquing it?
Fair
Got a
point.
problem with rafts?
Greetings, Seabass. GG.
GG.
Hey,
I mean,
pal, good job.
as good as it could have been. That was a little rough.
Hey, it
How
was
did you
rough
feel
for me
about
too,
it?
man.
I feel okay. I mean, it's my 4th run back or something like that, so I can't be too mad. I think all things considered, there were definitely things I wanted to take away from last run that I definitely learned. I learned how to exit D7.
Wise thing to learn.
I learned in this run that when you jump past Marin, if you touch her, it triggers the cutscenes I try to skip.
Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot you did that.
Yeah. what I always try to do is always be as low as possible on the bridge before doing the dash jump, so I know for a fact that I won't trigger it.
Yeah. Like, I made it across and was like, what? Why am I stuck? Oh, why is Marin talking?
Matt, why are you super swimming?
Why do you gotta judge everything I do?
Is there were times where you and Matt were neck and neck. 'Cause
Yeah.
Matt had some difficulties in some dungeons.
Yeah.
Power of the hands.
Particularly in Dungeon 4.
And he got some bad RNG in Dungeon 5.
Yeah. So you guys
then
were
I
pretty
missed.
close for a little while. And then after you'd missed the rooster skip, it was pretty much, that's what created the rest of the gap going forward.
Yeah, you missed Rooster Skip, and then I think
D7.
you then remembered really, really old school D7.
Yeah, I still, like, I know there's a bomb trigger. I'm not good at them. I have yet to practice them, really. Everything I've done in D7 has always been like, I know at this point I'm out of the race in almost 99.9% of the races I'm in. So, like, at that point I show off some old stuff just to have fun. For the content, you know?
Yeah, I
Or
know
the content.
I mean,
We
ball
had some pretty good
strats,
content.
ball strats are great. Like, it's fun, like, picking up the ball. It feels good.
Yeah,
The best,
it's like old. It's like It's like the D7 between the modern one, and the old one.
Yeah, the
The-
best
the-
of both worlds. Or the worst of both worlds.
Everything's awful.
the best one with the ball is for the third pillar. If you do a naked super jump whilst picking up the ball and cracking the pillar. Now that's
Yeah.
flagged.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that, though. It's
It's
okay.
really cool.
I learned how to fight Evil Eagle with the hook shot. Like, there's a lot of stuff that in the past week or two that I've, like, really learned, and it feels good. I think sub 130 is my goal for returning, and I'll be happy with that.
Yeah, I definitely got to say, after doing comps for the race earlier, I actually included some of that stuff that I saw in my run.
What, like holding diagonal left after falling into the well, and then diagonal right.
Yeah, that was one of the things.
Wait, which well?
When
In
you
the
get
well.
the photo, you can actually get out before the mouse goes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know if you move while you're falling, it doesn't trigger the camera.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
if you hold
but after the
up
picture, if you
left-
hold up left and then up right after the heart piece, you don't get blocked.
and you could just get out early. Like that entire section, I added stuff to.
Anyways, GG's boys, was a fun race to watch.
Good stuff.
Indeed.
I'm curious. The streams have gone away a while ago, right?
Sorry, what?
Said we changed the scene a while ago, right?
Oh yeah. We're on the interview scene now.
Awesome. That means
Yeah.
nobody saw me do Candlelit Castle.
I did.
Sorry,
Go for it,
Alpha.
Matt.
You'll never see it.
Yeah, it's gonna
So,
be
yeah.
tough for me to beat the first race back, first try rooster skip, no buffers. Like, yeah.
So
I
yeah,
also got to say on mine, I said I would last race that I would never gold the boomerang split again. Did it exact next run.
yeah. So the next LADX race we'll be having is on Tuesday between Sagas and Bamboo Shadow.
Right.
That one's gonna be pretty sweet.
Oh, it's gonna be a Clash of Titans, is what it's gonna be.
Yeah. So for the next Link's Awakening DX tournament matches, they're all on Tuesday, and then Thursday are the next 4 matches. Oh, and a Wednesday one as well. As far as ZeldaSpeedRuns is concerned, we've got Ocarina of Time Randomizer weekly tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, followed by a Randall tournament match at 2 p.m. Eastern, alongside the Minish Cap Randomizer weekly race and an Ocarina of Time GSR tournament match at 8 p.m. So Sunday's got all kinds of Ocarina of Time stuff going on. Lots of fun. Any final words before we wrap this up?
I think we're good for now.
No,
Yeah,
thanks
that's
everybody
right.
for watching.
All right then. So with that, I want to thank PhantomMat and oSeabass for the awesome race. Thank you, Astronomus and Crevone, I hope I said that right, for commentating for us. Thank you all for watching. I hope you had an awesome time and have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye!
Good luck next race, Matt.
Bye.